In August 2019, on the northern coast of Peru, a group of archaeologists made a shocking discovery. Lying beneath the desert sands, they discovered a mass grave of 227 skeletons. They learnt that the skeletons belonged to children between the ages of 4 to 14, and that they'd all been brutally slaughtered at the same time. How could this happen? The archaeologists surmised that these people were from the Chimu tribe, who lived about 1400 years ago. And they saw that this was part of a ritual that was designed to stop disasters happening linked to the weather phenomenon known as El Nino. For these ancient people, they believed that the gods controlled every part of nature, and that the way to live and to survive was to keep the gods happy. And so you would make sacrifices to the gods. You might offer some food or something more precious. Or if you were really desperate, you might offer your children. From the perspective of the Chimu, the choice that they had was either to die at the hands of the weather event, at the hands of the gods, or to offer up their children. What a horrible choice. Well, the truth is that this kind of approach to life is not too dissimilar from the time of the Bible. And it's against this backdrop that we start to understand that Yahweh, the God of the Bible, looks very different from the gods of the ancient world. And perhaps there's one story that demonstrates this more than others. It's a fairly well-known story involving a man called Elijah. And he had just faced a showdown with the ancient gods. He'd just had a bit of a competition with the king and queen Ahab and Jezebel, who were ruling Israel at the time. And Yahweh, the creator God, showed himself to be the most powerful. Of course, this enraged Ahab and Jezebel, and Elijah found himself running for his life. He finds himself on a mountain and in a cave. And it's there that we come to the moment in the story. God says, I'm going to reveal myself to you, Elijah. Well, the question is, how does the Creator God reveal himself? The story is told in 1 Kings 19 that first there's a great and mighty wind that blows. And it says, but God wasn't in the wind. And then there was an earthquake that shattered the mountains, but God wasn't in the earthquake. And then there was a fire, but God wasn't in the fire. These were all signs of an ancient theophany, the expectation of what the gods were like. And the question is, well, how did God reveal himself? He speaks. He speaks in a voice. He speaks to Elijah about his life and the situation that he's in. And he speaks with instructions about what to do, about how to face the future. This God talks back. And it's this attribute that makes the God of the Bible knowable. Think about it. How do you get to know someone? It's language, isn't it? We all love it when a little baby is born and we make all those baby sounds. But how good is it when they start to get a bit older and they start to talk to you and you begin to understand what they're like and you understand their personality and that they're really like their dad. We talk a lot about in church about having a personal relationship with God. How do we have a personal relationship with a deity we can't see? Well, we hear his voice. Just as Elijah did, God wants to speak to each one of us. He wants to speak to us about our lives. He wants us to know him, the knowable God. Yes, he's powerful. Yes, he can display himself in wind, earthquake, and fire. But this God wants to demonstrate the fact that he's a God of relationship, that he loves us. He wants us to know him, and he wants us to know that he knows us. For more on hearing God's voice and how to have your own God conversations, you can go to godconversations.com. Thanks so much for listening in today, and we'll see you next time.